Welcome to your next step up the self-publishing mountain.
I'm Matilda Swift, author of quintessentially British cozy mysteries.
And I'm Samantha Cummings, author of young adult books about magic, myths and monsters.
I've written the books,
Changed their covers,
tweaked their blurbs,
tried tools from a dozen ads courses.
and I'm still not seeing success.
Now, we're working together to plot and plan our way from barely making ends meet to pulling in a living wage.
Join us on our journey where we'll be mastering the pen to snag that paycheck.
Hello and welcome to the Pen to Paycheck Authors Podcast. I'm Samantha Cummings, here with my co-host Matilda Swift, and we're here to write our way to financial success. We're two indie authors with over 24 books between us and still a long way to go towards the quit the day job dream. If that sounds familiar, listen along for our Mastery Through Missteps journey. Each week we cover a topic to help along the way, and this week we're talking about co-working. But first, what are your whys and twinges of the week?
The first one is a very minor one, but if you're watching the video right now, you can see that I'm wearing a beautiful blue cardigan, which has got like real Jackie Kennedy vibes in the neckline. And so one of the moments of the week is like I went to a charity shop just to find some new jumpers, and I found this, and also just some spectacular dresses. And I really feel like, you're like, the luck of the charity shop, genies are with me. So I feel sparkly with luck, which is lovely. I am also off to Ampleforth Abbey for a treat tomorrow, which is technically a future win, but it feels, exciting. And also I've got two, I think, more. One is just out of my head. One is that we did co-working yesterday, which we'll talk about a bit more in a minute. Mm-hmm. And I have finished all of my bookkeeping. I mean, this is months worth of work that I've put off
done
so much, and I hated myself for every day, and it's been moved along my to-do list for so many times. I did it all. I've got one more sort of slightly related task that I just couldn't face doing at the end. I was like, it sounds like one task, it's going to be 10 tasks, but it's not actually bookkeeping, it's just related. I was like, you know what? That's fine. I'll take it as a win. I will eat my giant cookie and take the whole completion as a win. So that's and also my other big win, which I get to say because I am first today. Our episode of the Self-Publishing Insiders with Draft Digital podcast was out this week, and we sounded great.
Yep.
Not me saying that, I'm quoting other people that have listened. So we sound great.
Yes. That's the reviews, not us thinking that we always sound great.
No, link in the show notes so you can listen for yourselves.
I'm always interested listening to myself talk, because as soon as I finish recording anything, I've forgotten what I've said. So I love going back and being like, oh, that's where I was. That's fun.
Very wise. But we only recorded like a month ago, but it feels like forever ago.
It feels like forever.
No recollection what I said.
Yeah. No, I have no recollection. Did you say any whinges?
I feel like I've had whinges that I'm not quite ready to talk about because they're kind of like bigger term things. So I think I'll talk about them when some of them are secret because I'm mysterious and full of secrets. So some of them are like, I can't tell anyone yet. I can't tell anyone it's secret.
Couldn't possibly.
And some of them are just like, I would just be whinging, and I've got hopefully solutions in the works. So yeah, I'm going to go all wins this week.
Fantastic. I will start with my whinges, because I feel like I must address this before we continue. I've had such a bad cold, and I feel great in my body. I feel fine, but I have such a blocked nose and sinus problems. I feel like I'm talking like I'm underwater, and it sounds so weird in my head because my ears must be blocked, and it's just mental. But I feel like great. But
I think it adds a variety to the podcast. Just like,
my face doesn't
different voice today.
I'm like sticky shoesing it.
Yeah, but not as good as sticky shoes.
As good as sticky shoes.
No.
And hers is definitely more in the chest. I don't have that. I just have the nose, the Daffy Duck thing. I will also say my other whinge is that I have done hardly any writing this week or this weekend because I've just been so busy doing other stuff. And that's okay, because I know writing for me does sometimes come in waves, but I thought I would be on the wave of the writing wave at the moment, and I haven't been, so I need to get back to that this week. But all my wins are really good. I had a 2-hour massage yesterday.
Oh, so envious.
Which was, and I quickly dipped into our co-working session just to do a couple of tasks.
Tell everyone about your massage.
And to tell everyone who would listen that I was going for a massage. And then I went and had 2 hours, a massage and a facial. It's a place that's 10-minute walk from my house. So good. And I feel like I need to have that like more often than one time a year, which to be fair, I've had it far more than that. But I want to have that like every few months. I feel like once a quarter at least for that massage. So that's a really nice. And the woman who was massaging, and I do feel bad because 2 hours for me lying there, fantastic. 2 hours for her working must be difficult.
Yeah, it's really tiring.
I'm sure they must have been so tired. But she did say like what a luxury to do it for yourself. I'm like, I need it. I deserve the massage, so I need to make sure I get them booked in. And then took myself off for a lovely matcha at a new local cafe, which has a fantastic like hidden gem working room upstairs. Which
it looked so good.
It like, and I don't think many people go there because they're new, so they haven't quite found their client base yet. But the working space was really nice, and I am going to try and become that guy's new best friend so that I can always work in there. And then have matcha all the time. It was really good. And then today instead of writing, I had to go to the allotment because it's May and I have yet to plant anything. I've got things planted. This is all non-writing related. This is just my life. I have things planted, but it's an absolute mess. So I went to the allotment and I spent 2 hours solid ripping weeds out and clearing space for all my herbs and like saying hello to all my herbs because I'd forgotten some of them existed. So it was nice. Like, oh, you're still here. Fantastic. My pineapple sage exploded. It's doing so well. But it was fun, but I'm sore. We've got an inspection next weekend, which I will not pass. I've never passed an inspection.
So there's no consequence to it.
The consequence is they will then recheck it like 2 weeks later or something. I can't remember what it was, and I don't know what happens if you don't pass your second inspection because I always have. Because I just need, I'm a busy person. I just need more time, but I also just love a deadline. I think that's my problem. I'm like, well, the inspection's coming up, so that's actually when I need to start working, not before. Yeah. That's more mentality, epiphany. Oh, no.
I feel a bit anxious the idea of like failing the first inspection. I'm like, wow, I must go.
I love it.
I should give my
I get like 80% of the way there, and then I like to be like when they come back, it's completely transformed. Set them up so that they think I'm going to fail, and then wow them.
Yeah, pull it back at the last minute.
Yeah, like
some narrative drama.
True underdog. Yeah.
Yeah, very Karate Kid, but in an incredibly low stakes way.
So yeah, that's where I'm at.
I've done no gardening this year. I am so fortunate I live in such a rainy place. Like it absolutely is a nightmare in every other way. Just damp everywhere all the time. My house is full of wood lice. But I never water my garden. It just survived and looked lovely all the time. So take it.
Yeah. Very lucky.
Yeah. Yes. I almost bought some seeds today for my garden. I was like, am I going to plant them? No. I'll just live with what's there right now. And yeah it's nice. But this isn't a gardening podcast, sadly. No. As you know, as everyone can hear, we would make a great gardening podcast co-host.
It would be so good.
They're missing out. But for now, we'll stick to our specialist subject. And so, other thing we talked about co-working. That if you're in any of the tiers of our paid Discord, you get to come to the co-working. So Sam always works every Saturday between 2 and 5. So she's opened it up to anyone to attend. In the paid Discord tiers, and I've attended the last couple of weeks, and it has been a dream. So we thought we'd talk about that, but both also do other co-working. So we just thought we'd kind of go through what works, what doesn't work, different co-working options. But first of all, is co-working the same as co-writing?
Why would you ask me this question? Is this... I didn't even look at the show notes. I know, I didn't even look. No, it's not. So co-writing means that you are definitely all going to be writing. Co-working is doing anything. It's like just body doubling. That makes sense.
I like your...
Don't you laugh at me?
Interesting take on the answer when you could have said, I'm not really sure. No. So, because I think I often slip and use both terms interchangeably, but they are not interchangeable at all. So co-writing, you're writing something together, like you co-write a book.
Oh, I see. Oh, I did not interpret it that way. I did not interpret the question that way at all.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Good
yeah,
that
take
we're
it away.
doing this live on air. So yes. So if we accidentally use the word co-writing today, know that we don't mean it.
Mm-hmm.
Because co-writing is where the two of you will have your name on the book together. You wrote a book and you co-wrote it. Um, and the confusing issue is that we are all writers. So when we are co-working, we are also writing, but we are not co-writing necessarily. You could co-work and co-write. People do. I know we've had Jen before on the podcast who had an episode about co-working. No, co-writing.
Yeah.
And she talks about sometimes they were live in the document together.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to know more about co-working, we have had no co-writing. We we have had an episode about that before. This is why I need to start the definition because I feel like I just constantly slip between the
This
two.
is like
But this
Laurel and
episode is
Hardy.
not about
Oh, Beavis and Butthead.
co-writing. Today, every other mention of it today would be about co-working, where you just are
Yes.
working together, side by side.
Working together. Okay, yes. I'm on the same page. I see why you needed to determine which one was which. Yeah, so we co-work together. And we, like Matilda just said, we have just started the co-working in Discord. Don't know if... I think for most people that have come so far, they've co-worked before. I don't think this is the first for them.
No, yeah, I think that's true.
But I know for me personally, before starting the podcast, I had never co-worked before, in person or online.
Which is so odd because you love body doubling. And why had you not been co-working?
I don't know. I have the two wolves inside me, and the the bad one won a lot. The bad one wins a lot when it comes to anything social, which is weird. But since starting the podcast, I have done both. I now do both, and it is a bit of a game changer.
Yeah. Weirdly, I think I've always co-worked without really calling it that. So right back at school revision times, I would revise with somebody else. Sort of regardless of whether you're in the same subject, like just being next to somebody else who's working fervently as like, oh, I should also work and stop messing around. And then during my university degree, a friend and I who did different subjects would have a table that we would just claim as our own and have like very overly involved distraction tactics. It was in the library, so we would have things like playing like a Dewey Decimal based scavenger hunt that you would set for the other person. We had like gummy bears which was like a theatre stage on the desk, like on a piece of paper on the desk. And every time someone left to go to the bathroom, you have to change the gummy bears what they were doing in the theatre stage. But little things like that, like it just kept me sane. But I was working on science and she was working on geography. And it just meant like someone else is there and someone else can see if, annoyingly, for one of the years that we were there, we sat in the Russian literature section. I did a lot of turning around and reading Russian literature when I was not meant to be doing that. But someone could see if you're just reading Russian literature. Not in Russian, don't get me mistaken. Can't read Russian, can't read any other language. Just in translation. Anything to just be distracted. But someone could see if you're just being distracted. This was before phones were invented. This is how distractible I am. I needed someone else to be like, stop reading Russian literature in the library, study science, please. I find it so helpful to just have someone else there, which is interesting because like they never say anything. No one's ever going to say stop. No one's literally going to say stop reading Russian literature, as you can tell by the fact that we had like gummy bear theatre and like scavenger hunts using the Dewey Decimal System. We were both quite distractible, but it just sort of like kept you in the chair, kept your bum in the chair, kept you staying there, present, doing the work, rather than if left to my own devices, days, hours just pass, time has gone, it's evaporated.
Yeah, this is true because if I'm at my day job and there's nobody else in the office, which I love, I do so little work because there's no one there to kind of stop me from making 7 coffees and looking out the window and going for a walk and literally anything else. Hopefully no one I work with is listening to this, but that's why I like being in the office on my own. It's kind of like I mean, I do work. I do work, but I'm not trying desperately to do as much work as possible.
It doesn't feel. It feels like you're using more of your own energy to focus, right? You're using up energy to focus. Therefore, you probably are expending the same amount of energy, but you're expending some of it on just staying focused. And like, I used to have a fully remote team when I was working a day job in the UK, and we had a few meetings a week, but we'd also had 2 periods where 2 full afternoons a week we had Discord. No, we had Slack. So we'd have like
Yeah.
a Slack where we were chatting all the time, but would also have a Zoom silent co-working time. And everybody liked it. And it sounds terrible. Like you would just turn on Zoom and just have the other people's pictures in the corner of your screen. But it just felt like, oh, humans are here. I'm not the only human on Earth
Yes.
sat in a
Yeah,
little
you
box by myself.
have to be perceived.
Hmm.
I only kind of realised that recently in the last few years that I don't do like housework unless Brian, ghost boyfriend, is around because
Hmm.
I like that someone else is there. It makes the housework seem easier.
Hmm.
And that's when I learned, when I like realized that, and that's when I realized about body doubling and everything. Like, oh, that's the thing that other people do, and it's actually a beneficial tool for people who like to procrastinate. So
Hmm.
when I started I co-host an in-person writing group, co-working. These
Hmm.
words. And I am so productive. It's scary how productive you can be
Hmm.
when you're all determined to. It's not a competition, but when you're all
Hmm.
determined to do something to prove that you can do it. I think that's maybe
Also,
like
you've
my
gone out of
thing.
your way to do it. You've gone to the location to do it when you
Yes,
could just stay in
yeah,
your house and relax.
yeah, and like before I started that, my very first experience was going on the retreat last
Mm.
September, and that again was an eye-opening experience to realize that I'm really good at this. Like I'm really good at doing a lot of work in like if there are other people in this room with me,
Hmm.
I'm just gonna work because that's what's expected of me. And then the online co-working that we're doing is a very very similar. I wasn't sure how it would feel because sometimes I feel a bit awkward online. I don't know why. I don't know why these things inside me feel the way they feel. There's a person who lives in my head who doesn't like talking to people on the internet. Don't know why.
Mm. Yeah.
um, and I was a bit worried that I would feel awkward. And then every time I do actually do these things, I realize I'm actually not like an awkward, awful person. So I don't know why I worry
Mm.
about it. So the first week that we did was really good, and it's like, oh yeah, I actually am a normal person, and this is the perfect time to do all of the things that I need to do and not
Yeah.
put the TV on because I do that sometimes.
Hmm. But yes, I think we both had like little experiences of co-working, and I'm someone who likes to write in a cafe. I think partly
Mm.
for those reasons of like you've gone somewhere to do it, you are perceived. But I think in a cafe by myself, I'm a little bit less bothered. If it's people that I don't know that I haven't told what I'm doing, because like in a cafe, you can't just sit and do nothing. You can just sit and play on your phone. So I think it took me a long time to really realize that actually writing, and I never would have organized it myself at all. So like to see that like writing with other people is incredibly effective. And the way that I found it was like the group that you organized. There was one of those in Hong Kong. And someone just organised it on Tuesday nights in quite persuasively an ice cream place, like an ice cream parlour. And it was delicious ice cream. So
Sounds like
Tuesday,
something the child catcher would do.
yeah, absolutely. You could get me with a van full of sweets easily, even as an adult. I could be child caught. Um, so yeah, so she used to organise this writing, and it's just a drop in. It's just a silent writing time. So you just knew that people would be there between certain hours of the day on a Tuesday. You'd go in, you'd get your ice cream. You didn't have to talk to anybody, but you could stay and chat afterwards. And I think that was a good session because I believe that I can't write in the evening after a day job because I'm like, I'm so tired. Couldn't possibly do new work. I'm drained. I just need to go and eat some food and lie down. Um, like a Victorian fainting woman. No, I'm not that bad, but like go watch a movie or something. Um, but actually, when you go and do this, and the motivation of being there takes away the need for the energy, like the starting energy, because like this is what we're here for. So this is what we do. And I would always write so much, and it really taught me that if on a deadline, I can write in the evenings. It's fine, and it won't kill me. And so when I moved back to Headland Bridge, I tried a couple of times to kind of start similar things and never managed to get off the ground. Then someone else did, and I joined that. And now just a very small dedicated group of us goes on a Wednesday evening to the back room of a pub. And it's a really small group. So it's not like it's a big financial help to the pub. And you could get a room in a regular pub, like, or a table in a regular pub, just put headphones. I always have my headphones in with white noise on, especially since now the pub that we go to is like a real sort of community pub, and it has a beginners folk group once a month in the same location, like in a different room upstairs, and they are not good.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, that's
so
that's a
headphones.
nightmare.
It really is, yes. So put headphones in. I can't hear it anyway, so it's fine. But you take them out to like go to the bathroom, you're like, oh gosh, this one song you're all doing it again. Interesting. But also lovely, delightful traditional heritage and instruments I've never seen before in my life. Fun, but I don't enjoy it. And they love folk music, and they do not sound like people that do not love folk music. But anyway, so I think we both come at it from different directions, but found that actually there is so much benefit to whether you're writing or doing admin, just being with other people. And yeah, so we kind of wanted to have a very quick podcast about this today. I think that we've had a few long ones recently, so we've wanted to just talk about this, how we got into it, what we find benefits from it. If you had never been to the retreat, what do you think would have been a good way to test out for you, like whether co-working is useful to you?
I think that it would naturally come about anyway because the person who I started the co-working group with didn't go on the retreat. And we just, she's a local author friend, and much like you and I when we first met up and we were like, let's do a podcast. When I met up with her for a coffee, she was like, I really want to do a writing group. And I was like, me too. So I kind of stumble into these things. The universe guides me. So I think I would have done it anyway. But I think because I had the confidence from the retreat to back me up, where I knew like how it would work and how it would feel going in and doing work with people that I didn't particularly know. I had that the confidence to do it. If I hadn't had that confidence to do it, I probably just would have been a bit more hesitant, but I don't think it would have stopped me from doing it. I just wouldn't have known what to expect. But it's nice to have somebody else have my back with it, because Susan, who I run this group with, she's very much like me. We are both ADHDers and obsessed with like labyrinths and all things spooky and weird. But she is also a mother, so she has like a good a good mum brain, whereas I don't. I have child brain. So she's like, right, I'll get it organised, and she like sorted out the forms and everything. So I think if anybody else is thinking that they would like to start a group but they're not quite sure whether they can facilitate it themselves, then trying to find a buddy to take some of the weight. And I don't mean to ask them to do it, I just mean when you can, it's like with this podcast, when you can split up tasks, everything seems so much easier. And I think that maybe I just, now in my life, I'm going to try and do that for as many things as possible. Just always find a buddy.
Also, otherwise, you have to remember that's always there.
Yes.
You have to be responsible for always being there. Like some weeks you can't be. You don't want to say like, oh, because the second you sort of start not going, people don't know you're going to be there. Not everyone shows up. But in fact, that's part of the problem we have on our Wednesday night group is there's only really like 3 core members that regularly go. And, usually all 3 of us are there. But like maybe sometimes I'm off. I've been off on retreats a lot recently. So like quite often this year I'm not there. If one person is sick and the other person is like, oh, you know what, no one's going to go, I won't go. But we have it advertised, we've got a Facebook group and we try and tell people to come, and say somebody dropped by that night and it was their first time and they just find nobody there, then I'm like, well, I guess this doesn't exist then.
Yeah.
And partly the problem with this group is that it's the person who originally set it up isn't attending anymore, so like nobody quite has any ownership over it. And a couple of people have to like travel in for it, so it's just like, oh, so quite a low commitment. Whereas contrast it with like the ice cream parlor writing session that I used to do, the person who ran that, she used to write during the day very nearby. She's a full-time writer, and she would write very nearby all day and then come up to the ice cream parlour, was always there without fail. I don't think I've ever been and she wasn't there, which obviously can't be true. She must have been on holiday sometimes. But like it was so consistent, so regular that everybody knew. So I'm guessing if she didn't show up sometime for being away, there would have been enough people there that it's like reliably we're always there on Tuesdays. So yeah, I think splitting the responsibility with people if you don't want to have that, requirement to always be there. And like our co-working that we have on Saturdays, for the Discord, you were like, I'm always going to be there on Saturdays. There's never a Saturday where I do anything else. Like,
Except,
hand on my heart, could never miss a Saturday. And then the first one, like, but not this one.
yeah,
Can't do this Saturday.
it's the only time.
Which is like a long-standing commitment that you'd forgotten about for this massage. And then in fact, turns out you were sick, so I had to move this Saturday. So that's like, but that's 2 Saturdays in a row. That's absolutely fine for me to attend, and I could just go along. And I'm usually free on Saturday, but I don't really like being committed to being free on a Saturday, because I do have a social life and sometimes go places.
I do not. I tend to do social things during the week for some reason. So yes.
But also my family lives further away than your family does. So like we don't tend to do evening things. We'll do like all day things.
Yes.
So I wouldn't want to commit something myself for a whole Saturday a week that I would never do that. But I probably will be there on my Saturdays, because the last 2 Saturdays that I've been, I have been so productive. So I have previously only done, aside from like university, only done co-working for writing, and found it so motivating. I used to write all day Friday with another writer, and just knowing someone else is going to be there means that if you feel a bit rubbish, you'd be like, well, I can't let them down. I have to go.
Yeah.
And they feel the same way, and then you just consistently go, and then you get the habit of it, and it's like, Fridays I write. But I've never done it for adult admin. And I went the last couple of Saturdays. And this bookkeeping that I had to do, I did not want to do it even the smallest possible bit. Like, I felt like I would have to be paid to do this bookkeeping, because like the longer it went on not doing it, the worse the situation got. Right? So it's like every time I thought about it, it was got bigger and worse in my head.
Yeah.
And actually, it was one of those tasks where you think about it for like disproportionately long time, and the actual work to do it is less time than the time you spend putting off. But it wasn't nothing. It wasn't 5 minutes of work. I think it probably in total was 5 hours of work. But some of that was because I'd forgotten how to do all the processes, because I hadn't done it for so long. But it was a lot of work. And like, I was never going to do that by myself. I would have kept putting it off and feeling bad for so long. And actually just sitting down in the room, telling people in advance what I was going to do. So I showed up with all the things I needed to do it. We had breaks every 25 minutes. So like, I could grouch about and say like, oh, hey, bookkeeping, I don't know what this button is. What am I doing? And then go back into it.
Yeah.
And then do it. And it's like, oh, and now it's finished. And I feel like the most virtuous human on earth. And it feels fantastic. And I bought myself a giant cookie and like told everyone about it each week. It's like, I've got this giant cookie. Here's what I'm going to eat when we do this work, which I would never have done by myself, because I would just like, if it had been 5 hours of work, I would have spread it over 10 hours.
Yes.
20 hours, like 2 days, yes. And then just been like and eating cookies all the way through doing it.
Yeah, that's why on a Saturday I used to split up all my admin tasks over the week, and so every day I would have something like just something random in there, and then I realised actually doing it all in one go is so much easier. Like actually dedicating a day to admin is so much easier. So I'm really glad that other people have come to this group with the same attitude of actually I'm just going to do all the stuff that I keep putting off, because you never set time aside for that. So I find it very helpful to do that. I like to have the dedicated time. You are so
fast. This astounded me the first week. So I had to do a bunch of bookkeeping, which actually I thought would get done in just the first session, but it took me 2 whole sessions, which is like they're 3 hours each. But obviously I had a few other bits to do at the beginning or end. Every break that we took, so we take a break every 25 minutes. So I'd be like, oh, I've finished this thing. I've written my newsletter. I've sent up my arcs. I'd be like, I'm still doing bookkeeping. How have we done so many things?
When I hyper focus, I'm on it. This is how my brain works, which is why I need these dedicated times, which is why like on a Saturday I'll do admin. On a Sunday I'll just do loads of writing, because I need to have, it's good to like know how your brain works, I guess. I just need to have time where I just sit away from everything else and hyper focus on my list. And when I have a list, I love a checklist, and I love to like tick things off, and the satisfaction I get from doing it. Like I've got like multiple lists in front of my computer as well for like the next couple of weeks. I'm so good at it. That's how I do work at my day job as well. It's like every day I make a list and I just hammer through stuff. But then I have big spaces where I'm not doing anything. So it's just that I've just trained myself.
You've trained yourself, and I think I've trained myself, and this is true. Like I've trained myself to procrastinate and be very slow at admin. So therefore, I hate admin. It takes me so long. But actually, I would have never for myself thought, you know what I'd love to spend my Saturday afternoons doing? It's admin. But I'd rather do that than spend all week thinking about it and doing like tiny bits every day and like dragging myself to the computer to do it and like doing it in front of the TV, so it takes an hour instead of 10 minutes.
Yes.
I just think it sort of becomes a shadow in the background. And actually, we just say, all I'm going to do is like race through it in a 3-hour period. It feels phenomenal. And I want to say here, like, we're not saying like, everyone come and join our Discord. Like, no you don't have to do it. This is just like,
do it on your own.
Yeah, there are channels in the Discord that you can just hop into. There's sprint channels. So if you want to just organize it with someone else, you can hop in one of those for free. They're in the free tier. This is, partly I would say for me that wouldn't work because I hate the organising part of it because I don't want to do the admin in the first place. Therefore, I'm not going to organise a session to do the admin. So I think what I really like is finding a way to make it non-optional.
Yes.
So I think if you can find a way to do that yourself, like I had with a friend I used to write with on Fridays, non-optional, we wrote on Fridays. Therefore, that's what I did.
Yeah.
It's taking that decision out of it. So like we talk about this a lot of like decision fatigue. I'm losing so much energy to deciding when to do things, what to do, how to do it. And it's like, if I just make myself a big log admin list on Saturdays, perfect. And in fact, it doesn't have to be admin. So someone who was there this week was writing fiction. Which you can do then. We're not sat chatting about admin. It is silent sprints. And in fact, this week we were all very focused, so we didn't even really have breaks in between the sprints. Like I just had a very quick 1-minute check-in. It's like, everyone looks incredibly focused.
I was just getting massaged. So I was purely focused on massage.
Yeah, you're a hard worker.
Yeah. But it is the dedicated time. I think that's the key to even like doing admin or writing. Co-working is all about making it as important as any other appointment you have in your life.
And like wiring your brain to say, this is what you do.
Yes, yeah, like this is me working. These are my colleagues here to see if I'm doing a good job or not, but obviously not really. But also you get like the social aspect of it for me is also the benefit. So even though we don't talk during the sprints, the chat beforehand and the chat in between and the chat at the end where you find out what people have done is really nice because you like there's such a sense of camaraderie with other writers that I think every writer, this probably all ties in together, is having that community, speaking to other writers, seeing what they're doing, hearing what problems they're having. Even if you can't help them, it's still like you're just like sharing all of this information.
And it's like building bonds so that, maybe in 6 months' time when you think, I need to do this thing and that person knows about it, they're not a stranger. They're someone you can go and talk to because you see them every single week.
Yes, yeah. The in-person writing group that I go to, call it writing group, like we're all still so new to each other and it's got that really nice, awkward, can't remember people's names feeling to it. And you can see like the people who are quite shy and the people who are really happy to talk about stuff. And then we had some new people in the last session that just kind of rocked up because they'd heard about it.
That's so exciting.
And it's like it's got that kind of scary, like, oh, these new people, I'll never remember your names, but I know like at some point in the next few months maybe I will. And and it's like local people who are as interested in writing as I am, and we're all at different stages and everyone writes something different, and you just feel like you have found a cool group of friends. And I'm looking forward to getting to know them.
You never know where it's going to go from there. So like the group that I was in on Tuesdays, some of us from that went to a critique group separately, and like getting to know them through that group in a very low, like low requirement. It just felt easy, so that if I'd gone and they'd seemed weird and then they said, do you want to come to a critique group, I'd be like, no. But if it had been like the first time I met them and they asked me to go to critique group, I would have felt like, oh, it feels like yes or no. It feels very high stakes, but like getting to know people very lightly. This is definitely, maybe an introvert thing. It's like just some light touch getting to know people. I don't want to commit straight away. See what you're like. See who wears like a cool jumper next week, and I'll maybe comment on it. And then 6 months later, we'll join a critique group together. But it just like it. You never know who's going to be the person that you do something else with in future in those sorts of situations. And it does feel like a very low stakes, low effort way for you to get some more contacts in writing. So I would say co-working group is the best place to start network if you feel really unsure about it, because like there's no requirement, and there are plenty of groups around if you're looking for them. So like something like a co-working like writing group, they're everywhere in the UK. I don't know if they're everywhere in the world, but like they're everywhere. So if you just Google like writing group wherever, and in the UK, I think you could join it from anywhere, but like it exists in the UK. It's called like the London Writers Hour, and that is just like on Zoom. I think I've joined it, but not for a long time. On Zoom over lunchtime in the UK, you just sit and silently write. So again, like just have a search online for like, are there any silent writing groups? Absolutely loads. So I'll put a link into the London Writers Hour, which I'm still there on the newsletter, so I get reminders every day about it, and I never go. For me, like an hour is not a helpful amount of time. Because like I have started going to retreats, which I'm going to next week. I'm so excited. And I really like an in-depth, like long period of time. But it's ideal. It's made for people who are like on their lunch break at work. So yeah, there's lots of options to try it. And I think even if you thought like, oh, it feels like it's not the ideal thing for me, I would say it's worth trying in person, online, just to try and like just to see, oh, I don't want that, but I met some people there who mentioned a different one, or I don't want that, but I've realised that I've got a couple of other friends I can make a group like that with.
Yes.
I think I am very quick to dismiss how much I need people. And I'm like, no, I'm a lone wolf. I never need to see another person in my life. I can live
Yes,
on
me
a
too.
desert island. But actually, I get so much out of co-working.
Yeah.
It's
I love
incredibly
that.
helpful.
Yeah, I always think that. Like, I don't need anybody. I am my own best friend. I can do everything myself. Actually, a very terrible mindset to have.
Yeah.
Very detrimental to your mental health and your working life.
Yeah. And like for a while when I was working at home and I hadn't got my office yet, we just had like Friday writing sprints, like me and a couple of other writers from the Discord. Um, just that it was so helpful. Just like anything where you can gain a bit more um buy-in from other people and like commitment to
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
But in a such like there's no requirement, there's no stakes at
No.
all. So it
No.
doesn't feel horrible if you miss it. It just feels like a tiny tug towards doing it. It's like less of a decision to do something that you know you want to do anyway.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. That's probably what it is, isn't it? It's like when you know you have to do something, it's so easy to put it off. But when there's other people involved, it's harder to put off because you don't want to let other people down. So it's
Well, you
like
have
a
to tell
nice.
them. So then you're
Yeah.
also doing a thing by doing the telling.
Yeah.
So you might as well do the thing you planned to in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, which is funny because in real life, I'm terrible at that, and I'll say, and this is me being like, this is the part of me that's a flake, where I'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll come to that, and then I don't go.
It's atrocious.
And it's terrible, but I have never done that for a writing thing because it means more to
Because
me,
you
I
know
guess.
you want to do it, right? And it's like you do want to do it, and
Yeah.
you just need that extra little tug to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's everything from me. I think we just want to have like a short nudge towards everyone to say like we love co-working in many different ways. Like there are so many aspects to it, and if you're not doing it, you should find some way to do it.
Yeah, I think it's been the biggest game changer. And even, I guess, like, just to end it on, like, just bringing it all back to the podcast and stuff, this is how we kind of started the podcast, was the mastermind, like, having a mastermind, which is a similar thing, where it's the same as co-working, but we just stick to a very specific topic. But that is how it came about, is that the mastermind is, like, our co-working thing.
Yeah,
And
it's just like we are literally working on a thing together, whereas
yeah,
you don't have to. You can just be co-working side by side silently.
yes. So this is what we're all about, and this
Hmm.
is our, like, we're going to shout this from the rooftops every single chance we get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can't really go on anymore. Can't really
No,
big it
I think
up
that's
anymore.
everything. I think we want to just have like a short one today because we've had a few
Yeah.
long episodes recently. So we want to have a
Yes.
quick go over a topic where we love something and you should do it.
Yes. A nice, easy, light topic before we get into
Hmm.
next week's topic.
Oh, I don't want to
Dun
do
dun
it.
dun. Because we're doing something scary and we are critiquing each other's book ones.
Yeah.
What are we looking at? You tell me.
Oh, everything. So it's interesting that we've not done this before. I think I suggested it, and
Yes, you did.
it sort of felt like an epiphany of like, oh, obviously we should have done this. So we both have been in a critique group together before, very briefly. And I have been in a lot of different critique groups. And like the main benefit of being in a critique group is learning how to critique. It's not about the people critiquing your work because mostly their suggestions are terrible. It's useful to kind of see what they say and see what you might respond to it. But like they're reading it through one lens. And it's maybe useful if you get 10 people say the same thing, but they might be saying, like, oh, this feels slow, but it's for you to figure out how and why. So, like, it doesn't do an enormous amount of work for you in terms of, like, now my writing is fixed. But figuring out how to critique someone else's work, it helps you see your own work in another way.
Yes.
So, we're going to critique each other's series starters for our current series, but kind of looking at everything. So, looking at the whole package as it's sold on Amazon. So the tone of the beginning of the book, the cover, the blurb, the pricing, looking at some comps, looking at the genre, and just because I think you can see it's so much easier with someone else's work, and you can be like,
Yes.
oh, why is your cover black and everyone else's is pink? Like, why would you do this? And I think also because we're now both a good way through our series, like we're not so attached to book one, and we both have our next series already in mind, so that we are fine if, like, I personally don't think my book one is the best it could be. It's not what I want for my next series. I want to do like 1,000 times better in my next series, and so I want a good pair of eyes in it, saying and asking questions with like a good amount of bullying of like, why have you done this when everyone else that you think you're comparing your book to is like this? And just having someone else see it with fresh eyes and
Yeah.
you seeing their work in a way that you can then bring to your own work.
Yeah.
But it feels scary.
It is scary because I was doing my prep work for it today, and I've already started looking through your stuff, and then I was doing my own, like sending all links over to you, and instantly started seeing things with fresh eyes, and just had to
because we
press
sent each
send on
other
the
some
email.
comps, and it was just like, oh,
Yeah,
these comps are not as compy as I would like.
Yeah, so it's going to be a fun one, and it's going to be awful and painful at the same time. So tune in to that.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one next week. So hopefully
Yeah.
you've had a little bit of a reprieve with this nice brief one. Next week's will be
Yes.
maybe the one where I cry. Maybe finally the one where I cry.
I think maybe I actually was thinking that before. Like,
Chance
I
of
think I
that.
might cry. It's fine.
That is fine. That's how the feelings get out.
Yeah, we'll cry. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, if you are interested in the co-working that we've been talking about, you can head over to our website or to Discord and find all the stuff you need on the Epiphany engine. The lowest tier is where you get access to the co-working on a Saturday, but any tier above the lowest one also gives you access. So everyone's in. Yeah, I think that's it. I feel like my brain is kind of like a bit done now. So thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to Pen to Paycheck Authors.
Stay tuned for our next episode, and don't forget to subscribe to learn how to write your way to financial success.